everybody, and welcome back to another Sunday Live. This is a very special Sunday Live. I just got back from Egypt, and I've been gone for about a month. Just moved into my new place in Sedona, too. This is the new studio, and let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I'm still kind of setting things up, and it might be a little echoey, but hopefully the hearing's good. So welcome those who are here live and those who are watching the replay. So just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Okay, we can hear you. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, so I'm super excited for today. I'm going to be sharing quite a lot of footage from different sites that I've visited in Egypt. And as you guys probably have heard, Egypt has been in the news like crazy. There's so many amazing discoveries happening right now, and it's sparking the conversation, and more is starting to come to the light. Now there was something going around today about now I'm kind of drawing a blank, something being connected to the pyramid, some sort of the Garden of Eden. That's what it is. And I've received some downloads similar to that. So that's really interesting that that's coming up now too. So it's kind of sparking this whole conversation. There were some graphs that went pretty viral, basically like the same time that I got to Egypt, and I went with a retreat group hosted by Abby Lynn and an incredible archaeologist. I won't say his name just in case, but he's very open. He's a galactic ambassador. He knows what's going on. Like, he knows what's up. So it was a really cool group that we went with. And the timing was just so divine because literally like the day we got there, this conference was happening and this information was being released, showing structures underneath the Great Pyramid. Now, I went to a bunch of different sites, and I'm going to take you guys through a visual journey and share some of this footage with you guys of these different sites, as well as psychic insight and information that I've received. So nothing is what it seems. There is a whole world just beneath the surface in Egypt, but also all over the place. And this is starting to be revealed. Incredibly exciting times that we are in right now. So some of the topics I'm going to be discussing: giants, parallel realities, ancient technology, time travel, stargates. I came across at least 2 stargates that I had very profound experiences with in 2 different locations, and I'll dive into that. ETs and the ET presence, a forgotten war. I got some really interesting downloads about some wars that happened, and I'll get into it and you know, as we get to it, as well as we'll also be diving into a little bit of Akhenaten and some of these hybrid pharaohs. I'm going to show you guys some pictures of that. How's everybody doing? So I've been talking for a minute. I just want to pause for a second and say hello to everybody who's here live. I've missed you guys so much. How's everybody been feeling? Super excited. And this footage that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, it's going to help activate you. It's going to help trigger memories within you. And of course, I'm going to be going into the pyramids. I got to go into the pyramids. Our group got to privately go into the Great Pyramid, into the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and this underground area that I don't think many people get access to. So I'll talk a bit about that too as we get to it. But yeah, this will activate you, and it's so different from just being there is different. It's incredible. And many of us have had past lifetimes in Egypt, Atlantis, Lemuria. All of this is connected. Lyra, I had a lot of experiences with Lyran feline beings. It's all connected. Beautiful. A lot of us did priest or priestess training in Egypt as well. Beautiful. Doing good. Yep, the full moon energy pretty intense. Hi, Adam. Thank you. Keep up the great work. Beautiful. Okay, so I've got a lot to go through. So I guess I'll go ahead and start sharing some of this footage here. Oh, can you guys, hopefully you can't hear my music. Okay. Let me share my screen. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first location we went to was called the Serapeum. Really interesting. I'm going to try to kind of breeze through some of these. The Serapeum, really interesting because I've been having a lot of contact with the Seraphim recently. So I just found this interesting. And this was next to the step pyramid, which I'll show you a picture of right here, the step pyramid. And it's this area is vast desert, but there's all of these underground entrances, and we're only getting access to a tiny, tiny little piece of it. This is the Serapeum. And so here's an entrance. It goes way underground. And I'll show you guys kind of some footage of us walking through it. I guess I don't have too much of us walking through it, but it was interesting. It was this whole underground network with what appeared to be tombs in all of these different rooms that just went on forever. They appeared to be tombs. The energy was very interesting down there, but these things were huge. Let me make sure you guys can see it. I think you guys can see it. So I don't think these were just tombs. You see, you can kind of get a visual here of how small that's Mason from our group. Massive. And Tyler had an experience in the Great Pyramid in one of these sarcophaguses, what they're calling a sarcophagus, where I believe he astral projected from it. And whenever I was tuning into this more, like, what are all of these chambers with these empty, huge, tomb-like things? Oh, I just exited it. And there's Tyler. That's a good picture. You see the eye, the bird, what looks like DNA. And I was getting, like, portals. They're portals. Gateways. Let me see.
Yeah, there's orbs all over them.
And so some of there's a dust down there, of course, but there were also some orbs that I was able to capture on camera. So some of it's dust, some of it's orbs. Very high energy place.
Oh, it could be dust. Oh, I thought they were orbs. Well, I mean, there could be orbs. Let me see if they're intelligent, how they do that. Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, the dust doesn't, like, change direction. Well, sometimes it will, but... Wow.
Let me know if you guys can hear that. I'm going to test something out real fast. Sorry, 1 second. Serapeum. I'm going to try sharing this one. You can kind of see some. Okay, you could hear it. So you could hear us arguing about if that was orbs or dust or not. Okay, so huge underground network here. And then there was this ancient healing chamber right around the corner there too. Right in here, the acoustics. Everything's so precise, the way that it is aligned and structured, like laser cut perfection. Very strategic. And the acoustics, so we're going kind of out of the tomb. That was the tombs. This whole vast underground network is under there. There's like holes in other places that haven't been explored. Probably only 1% of that has been explored, and who knows what else is beneath the surface. Whole underground networks. And then above the surface here, this what was a healing chamber. And it had to do with acoustics and frequency, vibration. There's me. in there. You can like go in there and go Om, make some sounds. It's a cool spot. So very advanced healing chambers having to do with like sacred geometry, energy, vibration, the alignment, the grid points. Very interesting. Okay, so I've got a lot to go through. This is us in front of, they called these false doors. And these were depicted everywhere. So what's behind us? A false door. There's orbs above my head. I heard telepathically, go ahead and take a picture of us. We'll show up on camera for you. And we got one picture where they didn't show up. And then the next picture, you can see these orbs, 3 orbs. And it looks like they're going into my crown, kind of spiraling in. So that's what's depicted right here. Right up in here. That's something our guide was saying a lot. But these false doors were everywhere. That's what they call them, false doors. They're portals. They're actually portals. During a meditation that we did with Abby Lynn and the group in a room that had one of these in it. I didn't realize that there was one of these in it. See, it's like a portal, a doorway. They're everywhere. Anyway, my eyes were closed. Abby was doing a toning, a very beautiful toning, and we were meditating as a group. And suddenly I saw a portal opening up in the room with my eyes were closed. And all this energy, and I'm seeing like green energy right now. And the Egyptians come through, like ancient Egyptian deities, like Thoth and all of that, the deities. And feeling all this energy, and then they all point to an area of the room. And I didn't open my eyes and look because I was like, meditating. But afterwards I looked and I realized, holy smokes, there was one of these in the room that they were pointing at. And they said, it's a portal and it's still active. These are still active today. Very interesting. Okay, gosh, I have so much to go through, so I'm going to try to... what do we have next here? Maybe I'll just hit... Okay, we'll go into Abydos, the famous helicopter and spaceship and flying saucer. So I got to see these in person. See, it looks like a flying saucer. Something else. I think the guide said it looked like a tank. Debatable, some sort of a ship or craft or tank. And then this looks more like a helicopter. And then there's a flying insect right there. I think it was Abby was saying, that showing, having something that flies right next to it, showing that, hey, what follows are flying machines. All of this flies. So these are pretty famous, showing advanced technology. And I'll show you guys a video of it here. This was in the Abydos. Here's another one of those false doors that I was meditating by in this corner of the room. Extremely powerful, very potent. Like I said, these are active portals. And there was something underground in this specific location. It's coming back to me now. There was something underground too, right below where we were. So you might be able to tune in and connect with that. But I'm going to go back and show you guys. Here's the flying saucer, the flying craft. Here's a zoomed out so you can see its surroundings here. It is. And then I want to show you guys, where's the video of it?
Looks like a helicopter.
Impressive, right? Okay, I'm going to pull up this video file to make sure that you guys can hear it okay. So I'm going to pull it up.
A helicopter, that looks like a tank, that looks like a saucer. Can you see that? That is, can you see them? Can you see that?
I guess I didn't zoom out very good on that, but it's very high up. Okay, so you can see, like, look how high up that is. Those are the tops of our heads. This temple is massive. All of the temples are massive. It's like they're made for giants or by giants. Yeah, lots of birds too. So incredibly tall. You know, some people have said that that is a hoax or whatever. I guess there's rumors going around that that was a hoax. I don't think. You'd have to put like a bunch of ladders up there and try and get up there. And it's so strict at these locations, incredibly strict. Like you're kind of rushed through. You're not supposed to do anything spiritual, do any meditation or anything. It's like they do not want you to connect. There's constantly people. It's a police state. There's police everywhere. It's very heavily controlled and monitored. We had to have like a police escort with us at all times or on the bus. So yeah, these temples are on kind of like strict lockdown.
That looks like.
But yeah, that was pretty impressive. And I want to show you guys also these underground cities. So I'll show you guys some footage, and then I'll go through some more of my downloads that I've received about this. So this was, I think, at the same temple.
I'm going to take you to the other room, which is in.
And this is really interesting. You have to pay thousands of dollars very, very far in advance to be able to go down here. It's pretty crazy. But this is where the flower of life is found. You know, the flower of life sacred geometry is right to the left. I think I zoom in on it. But this was underground. So that whole temple that you guys just saw, that was above ground, and then this is underground. So who knows how many layers upon layers. There's so much underground. Literally, they've only probably unearthed or discovered about 1% of it.
That direction, when we get inside,
so go ahead and just kind of feel into this too, the energy of this.
Frequency. So we've got the two entrances to the Osirian and the heart. And as everybody, Noel had been asking me, and Anne-Marie had been
there's the
asking
flower of
me,
life.
what is.
So, and that's a very sacred, there was healing waters down there as well. That was a very
So we've got the
sacred
two
area.
Entrances to the Osirian and the heart. And as everybody, Noel had been asking me, and Anne-Marie had been asking me, what.
Okay. And so here's a picture of it. Our archaeologist friend got pictures, had somebody take, because we weren't allowed to go down there because it was reserved by another group. But he got pictures for us. All right. What do we want to get into next? Let's share a little bit of Akhenaten. Here's another one of these false doors. This is in a museum. I mean, doesn't that just look like a Stargate portal to you? And they're still being used as portals. It's technology. I'm hearing technology. This may trigger something in you just even looking at this. There's a bunch of them. Time traveling devices too. There was a lot. I'm going to get into some time travel and some really interesting stuff whenever I tuned into the pyramids, but let me show you guys a little bit more of this. So Akhenaten, I've always felt drawn to Akhenaten even before my awakening. I mean, look at him. He is not human. Not human whatsoever. And he was the pharaoh who changed. Let me make sure that you guys can see all that. He was the pharaoh who changed everything from, the believing in multiple gods to one God, to one source, to the sun, which would be, you could interpret that in different ways. People are just interpreting this stuff like nobody knows for sure. The sun, light. Light, honoring light, source light, because that's what source is. It's light. So I've always been very intrigued by him. Always felt very drawn to him growing up whenever I'd see him on, the Science Channel, History Channel, all of that. Look at his eyes. He was formed differently. He had a different body type. And I have a strong connection with him. I started seeing him about 1.5 years ago. Actually, during the spring equinox in Sedona, on a trip visiting Sedona. I saw him in Nefertiti. Nefertiti was his wife. And I didn't even know I didn't know who Nefertiti was at the time, but I saw her with the tall hat. And I saw Akhenaten a lot on this trip. It was really interesting. So he's hybrid. He's not human. Anunnaki hybrid, Syrian hybrid, who knows what else. And he had kind of like a little pooch. His body was just different. And I think it's in Grandmother Anna book, Jesus's grandmother. She went to Egypt for training. And apparently she lived to be like 600 years old. She went to Egypt for training in the mystery schools. And it mentions Akhenaten's mystery schools. So he had mystery schools where he was teaching. And I believe this is what my past lifetime with him was involved in some of these mystery schools teaching. So I knew him personally in a past lifetime. Ascension mechanics. All about ascension. Very interesting. So that's what I'm gathering so far about that. Grandmother Anna, very interesting too. Jesus went to Egypt. Yeshua went to Egypt to train. And in the Grandmother Anna book, I've only read a little bit of it, but it talks about a whole underground city under Cairo, and specifically under the Cairo airport. It's hidden, where she trained all of these temples. Very powerful places. Okay, so Akhenaten again. I like this picture. And his children were depicted with elongated skulls. I forgot to grab those photos. But they had elongated skulls. Very interesting. Let's see. Oh, thank you so much, Becca. You have no idea how much I appreciate this. I'll probably never get there, but I think I know how much I love Egypt. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, you can connect to Egypt through these photos. That was really the point of this. I wanted to help you guys connect, to help trigger, to help activate you. And you can connect with the pyramids as well from wherever you are. And there's different nodes that connect to the pyramids in ancient Egypt. Different sites. CAHOKIA Mounds being one of them, which is in Illinois, in Illinois, near the border of St. Louis. Basically, St. Louis which is where I'm from, was known as Mound City. And at the Rebels of Disclosure conference in May, which you can get your tickets in the video description if you would like to join us. I'm going to be speaking there. I'm going to be talking about the Alliance and some of these sacred sites. We're going to be taking a trip to CAHOKIA Mounds right after that. And the work that we do there is incredibly important. 2 years ago, I did a meditation there with a small group after the conference. And as I was meditating in leading this activation, I saw us touching Egypt, it connecting to the Great Pyramids, and that helping to reactivate the pyramids and the ancient technology there. It's really fascinating stuff. So you can connect from different areas, but you can also just connect through your consciousness, through your heart, from wherever you are. Okay, adding this back. Let's see. I'm going to go over a few more Hathor. Some of you guys have probably trained in Hathor's temple. This is what kind of the entrance looks like. Look how tall that door is. That entranceway. It's me touching the side here. And it's so laser perfect. Like this has lasted thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So Hathor, she was a very powerful priestess. Isis, apparently Isis trained under her, and they had they had their own kind of mystery schools or priesthood. So some of you may have trained with Hathor or Isis or under the Hathors, the people who trained, who learned from her in that group. And look how tiny that door is. Massive. And there's Hathor's head up here. So walking through, if you can just imagine, visualize yourself walking through this temple. Whenever I started walking through it, I had like kind of a flashback for a moment where it was like thousands of years prior, and I was like, holy crap, like I've walked through this temple, and it came back to me for a moment. It's like I tapped into it. And sometimes you leave pieces of yourselves in these areas, and then you go and pick them back up, and then you integrate them, and you remember gifts and abilities. It's really incredible. This might activate some of you guys just looking at this. Some hieroglyphs. Yeah, Hathor is a very kind of loving energy. She's often depicted as a cow, or so they say, where she has different ears. So here's zoomed in. What I found, there's Thoth right there. Interesting. And okay, hold on. Now it's something else. Okay, so she's often depicted with this on her head, and it looks like a stargate, like one of those kind of false doors. They call them false doors because it doesn't lead anywhere, but it does. It's like ascending up into the higher realms, or going through a stargate or some sort of a portal. She's often depicted with that on her head, which is interesting. It's like the crown chakra, gateway to the higher realms, to the divine. Very interesting. So she has these different ears there, and apparently the Christians moved in and defaced a lot of the gods and goddesses in a lot of these temples. It's really sad walking through, and they just defaced to dishonor them because they're false deities or whatever, But yeah, she's got like these kind of, this false door or portal, stargate, ascension gateway on top of her head. Really fascinating. And look, those are all stars. Just the amount of detail, every single inch is covered with something. Incredibly intricate. Perfect. There's ankhs everywhere. Very, very powerful. Also, there was a bunch of these little rooms too, which felt like maybe like initiation rooms or portals. I keep hearing time travel. In these little rooms with all of these symbols. There's Thoth. I love Thoth. So that looked like some sort of an initiation. The outside of the temple is completely covered. I'll go through a few more of these. I really want you guys to really capture the essence of it through the footage, and then I'll get into some more of the downloads. But there's another famous depiction that we were able to meditate with, and I had a very profound spiritual experience when in the presence of this, so I'll show you guys that. This was kind of a hidden tunnel. I don't know if most groups see this. We might have gotten special access to this, I'm not sure, but this was kind of hidden underground. There's Abby Lynn, who hosted the group. And then where's the picture? So this is depicting technology. They say, you've probably seen it on like Ancient Aliens or the History Channel. They say it looks like light bulbs. Some sort of ancient technology device. And there's Hathor's head. I want to show you guys that picture though. Okay. So it's some sort of a technology. An energy for energy. A very profound experience whenever I was touching it. That was in the Temple of Hathor. If I remember correctly, I had some sort of like an initiation. Like I was there whenever I was in the presence of this. This was an odd looking thing. You've got Hathor with the portals or the false doors on her head. And then this looks like some kind of I don't know, energy or frequency device or electricity or something. And then there's like cords coming out of her head going into something. It just looked like, what is that? Some sort of depicting some sort of technology or an energy device or something. What it looks like to me. How's everybody doing? I'll remove this for a second. As above, so below. Beautiful energy sphere. Connecting to Hathor. Yep, on Ancient Aliens. Machine is used on the moon that keeps us in the time circle. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of time stuff. I'm going to get into some really interesting downloads here in a second. So let me see. I think there was a couple other things I wanted to show you guys real quick. Karnak. We have to talk about Karnak. Karnak is incredibly... that was one of my favorite places. Temple of Karnak. So, look how tall. Like if we were standing next to it, we'd be like that tall. Giants. And then it looks like it's depicting maybe a human, normal sized human there. And then a giant there. I'll talk about that in just a second. So there's our group. Look how tall everything is. And I would see visions of giants walking through these areas some of the times. And this is where the obelisks are, some of the famous obelisks. There's 3 of them there, I think, really big ones. I caught some really cool light codes here. So this is like a huge energy and frequency that, like, the layout is very specific, very purposeful. And I had some downloads about Karnak afterwards, after we left. That was very interesting. I'll share with you guys in just a second, but look at those light codes. And next to this specific, if you go there, you have to go to the Temple of Ptah. This is within Karnak, and there is a very famous statue of Sekhmet, the lioness, female lion being, a Lyran, that a lot of paranormal things happen. They've tried moving it out of this space to like take it to a museum or whatever multiple times. Something has happened every single time. Finally, they're just like, we're just going to leave it here. People have profound experiences. This is as you're walking down to get to that temple where Sekhmet is, the Lyran. And so I'll go ahead and show you guys a picture of it. This temple, this statue is alive. And they are very, what's the word, like superstitious of it. Apparently it moves, it makes sounds sometimes. But whenever you walk into that room, it was really trippy. I'm used to seeing really crazy things because my third eye's pretty open, and I'm good at, like, I receive visions. I see all sorts of stuff. I can see through the veil. Walking into this room, and it's a dark room. Literally, the room started morphing as if I was, like, tripping on a hallucinogenic, almost. And the statue started morphing. Everything was morphing. The veil was so thin in that room with that statue. A lot of people get messages from the statue. I'll show you guys a video of it. Where? Oh, here we go. You can see what looks like there's probably some dust there, but also orbs. Yeah, really interesting energy there. Very powerful. It even had me like thinking, whoa. And then right outside of that room, where that statue is kept, all these beautiful light codes, very powerful, profound place. This was Karnak. And it's huge, massive. I mean, you could spend weeks, probably months, exploring just the Karnak. And again, that's where the obelisks are. Very important place. It's where that famous statue is. You got the light codes coming in. I had my crystal, my amethyst crystal there. And Tyler got a download that the Temple of Karnak was kind of a refuge place for the Lyrans. So there was a lot of war and battles that happened. And these places are very, very old. And it's also galactic. It has to do with galactic. So he had the download that this space was kind of like a refuge area a very, very long time ago for the Lyrans against, the Lyran and Reptilian War, Draco-Reptilian War. So many feline beings there. And I've had a past lifetime kind of a regression where I was a 12-foot tall feline being in ancient Egypt, very, very, very long time ago, and 13 feet tall, very, very tall. And I was teaching humans. So there were humans there. I was there while there were humans there, and I was teaching them. And something happened in this lifetime. I feel like it was very traumatic, but I died. And I felt it was like a Draco-Reptilian attack. And I see like kind of like this black goo sort of stuff too. And like an airstrike is what I pick up on. And I was murdered. And somebody else saw this part whenever they were tapping in. But they saw like Isis like weeping. Like they kind of had me laid out, my dead body laid out. And then Isis was weeping. But I was a 13-foot tall feline being. I don't know where I was exactly, but somewhere in ancient Egypt, very, very, very long time ago. So there were still wars happening then, and Karnak. So I'll share some of the other downloads that I got afterwards. Look how tall. Like those are humans. Karnak afterwards, I saw a very vivid vision and got some downloads about it. And it was saying a special frequency bandwidth. There's a lot going on there that we can't see. It's like a world within a world occurring there. And I saw a Lyran female being walking around the grounds in the temple there, like still at this time, just in another dimension. So these structures and temples in this architecture, there are many layers to it, and there are multi-dimensional layers to it. We're just seeing one tiny piece of it. Maybe it could be like the foundation of it. but there's all of these maybe frequency bands or dimensional bands kind of stacked on top, and there's so much more going on that we can't see. We're only seeing just a tiny little piece. And I was seeing Lyran, a female Lyran walking around the grounds, the temple in another dimension, multi-dimensional structures I was seeing. And then I heard period of adjustment, stars alignment. So it's like we're getting to a point where the stars are aligning and everything's starting to align, as well as our frequency and our level of consciousness, where I guess we could say stuff's about to pop off. Where more of the unseen is coming to light. The ascension of humanity, the raising of our frequency, and we'll start to be able to see more of these things, discover more of these things. There was also a lot of corruption going on. I was picking up on, here, let me go ahead and exit this. So there's me, like, look how tall that is. Giants. Getting into some of the downloads real quick. I'll go ahead and remove that. There was some corrupt meetings going on that I was picking up on. Interestingly enough, the hotel where we were while we were in Cairo was like for the elites. There were elites there. There were elite meetings there. World leaders were meeting there. We got to see some of them in a meeting room right next to our group. It was really interesting. And there was like there was portals depicted everywhere in this hotel. It was an old palace, a very, very old palace. And yeah, so some of my notes I was picking up on corruption, world powers meeting because of some of the information that was starting to come out and the big hype about Egypt in the news, kind of some damage control happening to try and kind of silence or hush these discoveries in the technology. It's very, very strict there. It's a police state. And I was specifically picking up on like Switzerland, and what else was I going to say? Oh, the Smithsonian hiding things. You know, there's a lot of corruption going on with the Smithsonian where they've taken stolen artifacts, giant bones, and then say that they don't exist. So we were there at a very interesting time because all of this was happening all at once, and these meetings were taking place to try and kind of do damage control, but too big to rig, right? Like you can make it too big to rig. We have to talk about this stuff. We have to share about this stuff and be our own journalists. I'll go ahead and share this other download I got about the Great Pyramids, and I'll show you guys some footage from that. I saw the Great Pyramids and I said, what's there? And they said dimensional jump. The sarcophagus is a portal. The Sphinx is a time machine. Mechanics. Very, very interesting. So I was seeing, and I was tuning back into the pyramids last night. Well, maybe, hold on, let me wait. I guess I can go into that now. Yeah, under the pyramid. It's a massive power source. But I was also seeing like underground chambers in corridors. And I saw sleeping giants there as well. Kind of a room, and there were 5 of them, Anunnaki kings. Really interesting. And I asked, like, why are they there? And I heard a time capsule. And then I was picking up on crossbreeding with humans. And then I saw an ark, the ark. I saw other types of beings, galactic beings, in a large, like, spaceship, in a large ark. And I've had downloads about this before, specifically with the Anunnaki, and around that time, the creation of humanity long ago. The Garden of Eden, I had a download that, like, the Garden of Eden, there could have been multiple, I'm sure there probably was multiple, but it was actually like an ark from what I saw. It was a huge ark, and it was like kind of this lush environment within this huge ship. And they were creating humanity. I saw them, you know, writing equations on this very, very high-tech advanced board and just experimenting with genetics. So that was some more of the downloads that I got last night. And, you know, there's positive and negative Anunnaki, so we have to be very, very careful with that. So I'll just leave that at that for now. There's been a lot of war. There's been a lot of corruption. we went to a mosque, a very old mosque at one point during our trip, and the energy and frequency there was very dense, very controlled. It just felt very tight. And some of us in the group, we were asking questions and stuff, and the answers that we got, it just didn't line up. I felt there were these chains kind of hanging, and well, maybe I shouldn't say that. It just felt like a lot of not good things felt like they happened at this place. But I had a vision while we were walking through this huge, massive mosque. Again, it's massive, very, very tall, very, very big. And I saw giants walking through. And it felt like Anunnaki hybrids, like maybe the last of them, but giant Anunnaki hybrids. And I was getting the download that they created religion as for control, as a control mechanism, as a program to kind of stonewall people and kind of keep them in this very, very tight, controlled frequency, and then erased. A lot of the history was erased. So going back into some of the other downloads I got, which I wasn't expecting, this is my first time kind of seeing this, I saw one morning I woke up and I saw a huge bomb explosion. And I heard blast radius. And then I heard controlled demolition. So a lot of these ruins and what's underground, there's layers and layers. And the archaeologists know this. Many of them. There are cities beneath what we can see, even the ruins that we can see, that have yet to be unearthed. Some of them are starting to be unearthed. Some of them are probably being hidden on purpose, or they're not diving into that. But a lot of these places were destroyed on purpose, what I was getting. Controlled demolition. And then I heard Marduk war, calculated effort to destroy everything, hide everything, and put humanity in a lower frequency, basically create a reset. The gods were jealous and did not want humanity to surpass them. And then, I'm not a biblical person. I've never read the Bible. I don't know too much about that. My family wasn't religious or anything like that. But that gets into the very biblical time that we're in and the parallels that are in some of these in the Bible. Now, some of it's been corrupted and twisted around. A lot of it's been left out, as you guys probably already know that. But there is some truth in there, and it talks about this war happening between the Elohim, I guess, the Elohim, what they call them. So it's really interesting. That was when you're standing in Egypt around all these ruins and then this vast desert that looks like it was just completely scorched, like it was a paradise before. What happened there? Okay, I'm going to show you guys some pictures real quick to kind of depict what Marduk war is the reason women were removed from power in Egypt to force masculine to come in, where we are now. And and you see Magdalene was, all of that was, that was erased from Christianity to Mary Magdalene. She was reduced to just a, prostitute or whatever. Yeah, very masculine energy took over. So we're bringing back the divine feminine energy and balancing it. I'm going to show you guys a picture of the desert. So I had a download here. It was around this place whenever we were at this place. On site here, I saw a very vivid vision of green, what looked like a green energy weapon. Could have been like a laser weapon, just destroying everything. Controlled demolition, like they said. Destroyed. A war. Nukes. I saw nukes, like blast radius bombs going off here. This was a cool video. Rachel. I thought this showed. There's Rachel. I thought this showed. But okay, so just look at the surrounding.
She's looking super awesome in her yellow outfit.
Just kind of scorched a lot of it buried, destroyed. In this area, around this area specifically, I saw like these green laser weapons purposefully just destroying everything and erasing our history. And it kind of reminded me, if anybody's watched Game of Thrones, you know the green fire that they use as a weapon is like hotter than normal fire. I feel it's interesting. It's like that same color, that like kind of lime green color was the energy weapon that I saw. The same color of the energy weapon. So it's interesting that they depict that in Game of Thrones too, and they use that as a weapon in multiple episodes. Because it explodes things. It burns hotter than fire. It's very destructive. So I just thought that was really, really interesting. Controlled demolition, calculated effort. Sodom and Gomorrah. I woke up one morning and heard Sodom and Gomorrah, and I didn't even know what that was. I had to look it up. And that's also biblical. Let me see. Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah were ancient cities in the book of Genesis, destroyed by God due to their extreme wickedness. The cities became a symbol of divine punishment and desolation. The story also highlights the theme of God's anger towards sin, paralleling the Genesis flood narrative. So it was basically destroyed cities for wickedness, destruction. And, you know, God's source is love. It's light. It would not destroy or punish like that. So they're talking about, I'm sure, like the Anunnaki or Anunnaki hybrids or, you know, whatever. And I heard that around these locations, that's what had happened there. That's what it was about. And apparently they don't know, I may be wrong on this, but they don't know exactly where Sodom and Gomorrah were, I think maybe. But what I was picking up on, it happened like everywhere in a lot of locations. And that particular spot where I was in Egypt, it had happened there. And that was part of what that was. Just destruction. And yeah, layers upon layers of our history just hidden. It's right under our feet. And our archaeologist guide said that there are people who know what's going under there. But that's like top secret clearance. So very, very controlled. Now, I guess I can go ahead and get into the pyramids. Let me see if there's anything else on. Okay, time capsule. I kept hearing time capsule, Luxor, whole underground city with massive ruins, things hidden there. And I was feeling the Guardian Alliance. K, a time capsule with artifacts, lost wisdom. So there are beings who have been hiding artifacts. I saw K, my inner earth. She's a Lemurian Atlantean descendant, contact and family, soul family, that I've had contact with for a few years now. She was involved in that, part of the Guardian Alliance, and went around hiding wisdom. I saw them hiding wisdom like within a bust, like, you know, statue of a head in ancient Egypt. So these beings have been going around kind of putting hidden wisdom and information that would help wake up humanity when the time is right. These things will be found when the time is right, when humanity is ready. A lot of people say this is just a show, right? This is all a show that we're actively participating in. As the collective is ready for the next step, which is why you have all of this fuss about Egypt. And if you've been watching my videos for the past few months, or probably 6 months, really, the Alliance updates, they've been talking a lot about artifacts being found, the Ark of the Covenant, buzz about that's been going on. Now we've got buzz about Egypt. They've been mentioning Göbekli Tepe as well, and other locations around the world, as well as these locations are starting to become activated. Part of why I was there at that time was to help activate things, to help trigger things, and to do grid work and connect these different nodal points. The Earth is like a huge ascension, I don't know if I'd call it a machine, but it's like ascension mechanics, and these things have been kind of blown off, destroyed, purposefully, by corrupt knocking it offline, kind of keeping us stuck in this density. And now we're going around, the light workers, the grid workers, the star seeds, activating these different points with our light, with our frequency, the shifts in our consciousness, turning these things back on all around the world. And then we get to the next level, the next level, the next level. And it's literally going to propel us into the 5D and beyond as a part of our ascension journey. So it's incredible. So these sites are incredibly important. And yeah, the more of these things will start coming to the surface as we are ready for it, as well as activating. I know I didn't talk about stargates. Man, okay, so I'll go over that real quick and then we'll go into I'll show you guys some footage from the pyramids real fast. Man, there's so much that we can just talk about. But I want to share with you this one location. Really interesting. Abu Simbel. So this spot, I had an experience with the Stargate. I found a Stargate here. Abu Simbel. Okay. So you can see massive, like there's humans. That's how big this place is. But this temple was originally under the water. There's a huge lake there. They like dammed it up and caused like, they flooded it out and they kind of created that. Man-made. The original temple's under the water, right under this. But they say that they moved everything to the surface. How did they move all of this? There's even like a documentary about it. Back in like the 60s, there's a documentary about it, like showing it. But this temple felt different. Like there was still good energy there, but you look at it up close especially on the inside. I didn't even take that many pictures because it just felt fake. Like it wasn't real. It was a remake. It was a recreation. It was a Hollywood set. They actually filmed movies here. And then they just say that they moved the real thing because, you know, it makes them money. My opinion. For entertainment purposes only. But that's what it felt like. The inside etchings, they weren't like laser precise like the other temples that we went to. And it just didn't make sense. So we felt called to go out by the water. And whenever we went out by the water, I had an incredible experience. I'll show you guys this video. This was a very powerful site though, but this is a recreation. So we went by the water, and I started meditating and tuning in, and I saw a Stargate in the original one, which is still underwater, and they covered it up with sand to like preserve it, apparently. So it's hidden, so nobody can go down there. They're very strict about like letting people into the water there. So it's like covered in sand, but this still exists under the water, and there's an important Stargate there, very important. So I began meditating and I saw all of that. And then I connected with this Stargate, and something really interesting happened where a fragment from my Lyran, my feline Lyran heritage, my soul wisdom and soul essence, I had a soul retrieval experience, came through the portal of that Stargate from out in the cosmos and returned back to me through that Stargate. And with it would come wisdom, DNA activation. Yeah, who knows what happens as I integrate. Like I just got back and I had to move immediately. But that's what came through the Stargate. Very interesting. So here's one of the locations of a Stargate that's being hidden. And the other location of a Stargate that I connected with was at the Valley of the Kings. And here's a picture of me. Tyler got some pictures of me while I was meditating. I didn't even know he was photographing me. But in one of the tombs, I believe it was tombs of Ramses. Actually, let me show you what it looks like from the outside. It's incredible. Huge valleys of just underground networks. Massive. And it just looks destroyed on top. Those are some giants. There's all of these just entrances. Like inner earth entrances all over the place. It's insane. Here's another one. This is just randomly like in the mountains. It's everywhere. There's such a vast underground network, and we are only allowed to explore like probably 0.001% of it. So who knows what else is down there? It's very vast. This was a subscriber that I ran into there. There's like a crowd of people, and I hear Lily Nova. I believe her name was Jody. So hi, Jody. I just wanted to share that. We were in Egypt at the same place at the same time, so that was pretty cool. Okay. So I got some pictures of me meditating. This is where I connected with the Stargate that was under the ground there. And I just felt called to put my hand up, and I was tuning in. And then I saw this Stargate, and I was helping to reactivate this. And there were galactics around too. I felt the alliance very heavy that day. Actually, as we were walking around the crowd of people, some of the people I saw, it happened a couple of times. I was like, they're not normal. Like they were like watching. They were on mission, possibly galactic ETs walking around. That day was a very, very important day. Something shifted that day. And I was there helping to activate this. And so he got some pictures of me doing that. And then whenever I opened my eyes, I was so amazed at what was depicted in front of me that I didn't even notice before. After I'm having this crazy experience where I'm tapping and connecting with the Stargate, helping to activate it, setting my intentions, I'm seeing all of this quantum stuff occurring that I don't even have words for. And then I open my eyes, and there's women depicted here on top of a portal, what looks like a portal, maybe a Stargate. This snake, like maybe Kundalini energy, this snake, and this rod or staff, which I saw the Ark of the Covenant. Whenever I tuned into that, I saw it as Mother Mary appeared and showed it to me as a staff or some sort of a rod device that went to a Stargate that was like a Stargate, but it was like a rod that was a piece of it, like maybe a key to it. And you see these women with their palm up exactly how I was doing, and it's like they're activating these portals. And that's what I had that experience right in front of that. I'm like, oh my God, it's depicting what I was just doing. Really incredible. I think I got a video of that. Okay, let's see. So here's what it looks like outside, and there's just all these underground networks in there. I don't know if you guys can hear that, so I'm going to, and then we'll start wrapping it up here in a moment. But I want to show you guys this. Valley of the Kings. There's a spaceport under here. I was picking up on like a starport too under there. Valley of the Kings. So pretty wild. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a spaceport under here. Beautiful. Okay, and then I'll answer some questions here in a moment. But I want to share the pyramids and the Sphinx. I got some downloads about the Sphinx as well. It was very interesting. But I want to show you guys some pictures because that might cause some triggering for you. So we got the pyramid to ourselves, our group, which was fantastic. We had it to ourselves for a couple of hours. Here's a picture of the Sphinx. And there's all of these underground networks just everywhere. Just everywhere. But you're only allowed to explore, you know, a small part. We got to go in and go in between the paws of the Sphinx. But whenever I was there, I saw a huge golden sphere above the Sphinx's head, and a kind of a channel or a column of light going down from that huge golden sphere into the top of the crown of the Sphinx. Massive. I thought maybe, is it a ship or is it the sphere of a Minty? It felt like it had to do with time, and I was getting downloads about the Sphinx being part of kind of a larger time machine, mechanical, that's going to, or mechanics, like kind of this quantum mechanics, very multidimensional, that has to do with the alignment of the stars, the energy, where we are. Time is a cycle. It's all a cycle. As it's coming back online, it will help us shift up. Very fascinating stuff. I also saw a very large Federation ship in the sky whenever we first pulled up. But yeah, there was a golden sphere above it with a column of light going down into the Sphinx's head, suspended there. These are just a little bit of dug up ruins right next to it. I thought this looked really intriguing, facing the pyramid. There's 4 pyramids. The Great Pyramid.
Okay, in the Queen's Chamber.
That's within the pyramid in the Queen's Chamber. Very laser precise. Everything. We're literally crawling through this tiny shaft. I mean, that's all that's in there. It's a huge machine, the pyramid. It's a huge machine. It's a huge piece of technology. It's not a tomb. There's just this huge shaft you have to crawl up, down, and then a couple chambers, and then a whole underground network under it. That's what it looked like from the outside. And who knows, what all this stuff that's barely been dug up. We climbed in through there. Massive. In the King's Chamber, it's a healing chamber. While I was up there, I had an experience with the Serapeum. They greeted me, and they gave me a box of memories for me to open and integrate as I am ready. So I found that really interesting. Tyler had an out-of-body experience in the tomb. So there is like a sarcophagus or this box up in the King's Chamber. I don't think I got any pictures of it. And it was like an astral projection, really profound experience. So the energy there is very intense. It's incredible. It's a healing chamber as well, but it's a huge piece of technology. And there's much more going on underneath it. But here's some of the ruins. If you guys want to take a peek at this, just all over the place. It's literally everywhere. There's dogs everywhere. There's a dog peeing. They're kind of guardians. There were cats at some of the temples too that were guardians. Let me see. So vast underground networks. Under here, I also saw, oh wow, look at this. This is from in between the paws of the Sphinx. And like I said, there's a huge golden sphere above it with a column of light entering into its crown. Oh, look, the video is a little weird. Huge golden sphere. It's part of a time, kind of a time machine or a multidimensional machine mechanism working with the earth and the earth's energy to help propel us up as it comes back online and energize the planet is what I was seeing.
Got the lion
And you can tell that's not like its original head. Okay. Yep. I'm just going to share a couple pictures of cats with you now, and then I'll answer some questions. So there were cat guardians. This was at the Temple of Isis. Lyrans, very heavy Lyran presence there, the feline beings. That's an important part of our ancestry. We are Lyran. We have Lyran genetics. A lot of us had past lifetimes in Lyra. And these guardians, these cats, they really were guarding the place. There's Tyler and the cat doing the same thing. That was funny. Here's within the Temple of Isis, which had a beautiful soft energy. There were cats everywhere, and they were just guarding, literally guarding the temple. And I believe it was Noelle, which is who's good friends with Abby and who was on the retreat with us. She received a download about these same kind of families of these cats will, they give birth. 2 of the cats were pregnant. The energy was very much about like divine feminine, fertility, soft love, but also strength and power and protection. Beautiful, very beautiful energy there. But she got the download that it was these same very galactic, otherworldly cats who stayed at the temple, gave birth, and their children, their kittens, would stay at this temple, and they carried down wisdom. These cats were different at the Temple of Isis. They were not normal cats. They were very, very wise. Their energy was incredible. Just look at this. They were posing for pictures. They were very activating. And they kind of followed us around and just kind of guarded. This one was my favorite because she would come up. She was also pregnant. She would just come up. She'd walk up and then she'd close her eyes and just start meditating. Like her eyes were always closed, meditating. And I'm like, that's like me. She would just walk up and then try to close her eyes, meditate. She was adorable. Yeah, very galactic cats. Very special energy worker cats. There's me petting. There's Tyler with one of them. There's Abby, Noelle, Christine, Kim, and the cat posing. This was at the Temple of Isis. Beautiful. Okay, Lyran, I don't know if I want to talk about that. It's interesting, just touching on the galactic wars real quick. I thought this was interesting. You see a lion depicted here, and then it was eating an alligator, and this was at the Temple of Sobek. So it to me, it felt it was very much showing the like the Lyran and Draco wars. And kind of the duality of it. Here's Sekhmet. This might be very activating for you. And then we'll wrap it up. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Share. So basically, giants everywhere, hybrids, galactic hybrids, ET presence, very massive ET presence, massive underground cities and temples that are either not discovered or not being disclosed. Things being hidden by Guardian Alliance and other beings, time travelers, I believe, for humanity to find and discover and be made aware as the time is right, as we are shifting our consciousness, as we are seeing more of these discoveries coming into the light, lost wisdom being found, the halls of Amenti, where some of these underground networks go to, the portals, the stargates. There's a vast portal network. And while I was at Abu Simbel, part of the download I got was that Stargate, it was connected to Karnak, I believe, and they would go through that to travel back and forth and to carry maybe some of these stones and things like that, move some of this material to different locations through these portals. And certain beings and people, light workers, starseeds, have certain genetic signatures and frequency signatures to help unlock and activate something very important at these different sites around the world that will help bring in the next phase of the awakening for humanity. Things will be discovered. Things will be unlocked. DNA will be activated. Memories, lost wisdom will be activated. There was a huge war, controlled demolition. And then under the pyramid, massive power structure, underground chambers, sleeping giants. We have to be mindful because there's positive and negative with that. A lot of negative stuff that we're kicking out right now. And yeah, that basically summarizes it. Okay, let me see. I'm going to scroll down here. Sorry, I haven't been paying too much attention to the chat because I wanted to get through all of this. But let's see. What was your favorite moment there? First thing you think about? Helping to activate that Stargate in the Valley of the Kings was really cool for me. I enjoyed that. I thought it was crazy that I opened my eyes and there was a depiction of that same thing happening right in front of me. That was really cool. I also really liked connecting with the Stargate at under the water at Abu Simbel and retrieving some of my Lyran ancestry and some of my Lyran memories. Some of that wisdom. I feel a big shift happening. Like I've barely had any time to integrate anything because I moved immediately whenever I got back. But I feel myself automatically knowing things and just my stepping into more of my power and accessing just more of my wisdom automatically, my soul wisdom. So I'm super excited to see where this leads, what sort of downloads I continue to get. On trips like these, you can have downloads and memories and activations for months, for weeks and months after the fact, because there's just so much to integrate. So I also loved being there with some amazing light workers, a very powerful group that we went there with. So that was fun, doing grid work out there. And it's just different whenever you go in person. The Lyrans also, it was very, very Lyran themed, and connecting with Akhenaten more and seeing more of that in person was incredible. Downloaded a ton of energy from Goddess Isis in one of her temples. That was amazing, I bet. Yeah, I loved the energy there. Which area did you feel most connected with? I actually really did like the Temple of Isis. That was a big highlight. The energy was very, very soft there, but also powerful. So that was beautiful. I didn't share much photos from the Temple of Isis. I shared a lot on my Facebook. How does it connect with CAHOKIA? Through the grid and through these node points. Like CAHOKIA is like a grid, a node. Do I spy a moving box that hasn't been opened yet? Oh, also, what's up, Ryan? What's good? How's it going? And I'm going to be talking more about CAHOKIA Mounds and the Egyptian connection on A Journey to Truth. I'm doing a live with Daryl James, who's the Solar Warden SSP whistleblower, here in a couple of hours at 5 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. PT on Journey to Truth Rumble if you guys want to join. But I'm super excited to connect with that more and see what else comes up. But it's like part of a huge ascension mechanics, basically energy device. But it works with nature, which is incredibly profound in how it should be. It works with nature. And yes, I'm still setting up my my studio here, and I'm still unpacking. While watching this video, Isis, Sekhmet, and Horus appeared, confirming some of the things you said, like past wars, portal, your past life as a healer and teacher. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Amanda. Past 2 weeks have been very activating. Question, any Thoth downloads? Yeah. I don't know if I want to share them publicly, but yes. Yes. I see a lot of emerald green. The emerald order kind of some information about that is coming up. The Guardian Alliance has come up in some personal things. So I'll see what else I can share. I'm sure much more is going to be coming to light, and I'm going to be receiving tons more downloads. I saw a lot of Osiris and Sekhmet during the trip, and Horus. Do you have any downloads for the progress of the country? You know, I've been totally in the Egypt world and Sedona world as I've been moving. So the collective, I'm seeing just kind of energy being like moved around as I'm tuning into it right now. It's kind of just like being moved around. Some things being kind of shaken up, but things being kind of moved around and moved into place. It's flowing. And the work being done, progress, they're saying. Progress is being made, yes. The work being done around the globe with these different discoveries and these different stargates and other things that are being activated and turned back online, because a lot of these things were disabled or destroyed or blown out on purpose. The energy can flow more freely to everybody. The frequency can rise. We can access more of our natural divinity in if that makes sense. So yes, there's progress being made for sure. And then next time on here, I'm sure I'll have tons of more updates on kind of what's going on globally. But for this live, I wanted to focus on Egypt. Thank you. I'll share this video with a person very interested in Egypt. Yeah. Yes, Egypt is fantastic. Some of the people there are very amazing. The culture can be a bit intense. The traffic is crazy. And you have to be mindful about what you do at the temples. They don't like you doing spiritual stuff, so just kind of keep that in mind. You kind of, it's interesting, but it's a very beautiful, enlightening, and very activating experience. Yes, I did talk to Thoth while I was there. Make sure to head over to Journey Truth after this to join Lily and Daryl James while we get prepared for Rebels of Disclosure. And again, Rebels of Disclosure is in May. If you'd like to come join us for that conference, I'll be speaking. I'm going to be speaking about the Alliance. I'm going to deep dive into some things that I haven't talked about publicly, I haven't talked about on my channel. Probably dive more into some of the sacred sites, and who knows what other types of updates and exciting new things can even happen in a month, because so much is happening so fast. So I'm super excited to share that with you guys. And we're also going to CAHOKIA Mounds, which is, like I've been explaining, is connected to Egypt and these other nodes. Very incredibly powerful place. And Thoth was there. I received downloads and contact and communication from Thoth while I was at CAHOKIA Mounds as well. And CAHOKIA Mounds is like a big hidden gem. Like, not many people talk about it. You're not allowed to, like, you know, like Ancient Aliens and other places have tried filming there, and they're just not allowed. So it's a big hidden gem, very important site. And the largest mound there is actually, the base is larger than the Great Pyramid, which is just mind-boggling. So come join us if you can in May, and hop on to I'll share the link in the comments and the video description for you guys to hop on to the live with me and Daryl. Daryl's always fun to talk to. Very interesting person, and Solar Warden is just a fun topic to talk about anyway. Do you think when us starseeds lose crystals in locations we're visiting for the first time has more meaning than we think? I just moved from California, and I've lost 2 quartz that were my best friends since California. Yeah, it does. So over summer, whenever I took my Mount Shasta trip, I went to Crater Lake in Oregon. Amazing, beautiful site. Please look it up if you can. I went down to the water, and while I was down in the water, I had some Lemurian crystals and other crystals with me. Put it in the water to charge it there, because it's a very sacred, high energy place. And I was told, drop the crystal. Drop the crystal. And it was like my Lemurian one. And I was like, I don't... you know, I was hesitant. So I'm like, I don't know. It's my special Lemurian crystal. And I'm like about to go to Mount Shasta. And, you know, they say again, drop the crystal. So I'm like, okay. So I dropped the crystal. And then afterwards, I had this very beautiful spiritual experience. And they said, now you will be able to connect with it and the energy of Crater Lake whenever you want. And it's connected through your heart. so I could connect with that crystal and kind of connect with the energy and bring in that energy. You also leave crystal places to do grid work because it has your frequency in it. You've been working with that crystal. You drop it somewhere and you help activate the land there. It's almost like, even like your hair kind of falling out in certain places is interesting because you're like, it's adding your DNA and you're leaving an impact and you're helping to activate and shift the frequency of that area. So yes. And don't forget to hit the like button if you're here right now or watching the replay. And drop a comment. Let me know what you thought. How did the footage impact you? What are your thoughts on all of this, on some of the downloads, about this being a massive kind of ascension mechanism? I'm seeing a very multi-dimensional version of this. Whenever I tap into the pyramids and the Sphynx and all of that, like there's just so much going on. So let me know your thoughts on all of that. Thank you, Victor, for sharing the link. There are connections between Egypt and Sedona too. Exactly. There are. And I'll be talking more about this, at least the CAHOKIA connection and Egyptian connection on the live tonight on Journey to Truth podcast. So, and we have Tyler has a documentary on CAHOKIA mounds. For those who are interested, I'll add that to the video description as well. Okay. Any details on how they activate this? You mentioned the angelic realm. Oh, you can work with them anytime. And some of us are from the angelic realm. We have connections with the angelic realm. So you can work with them at any time. I love my angelic guardians. Any details how they activate us? I mean, they're there. You may have a connection with them. I have tons of meditations with them. I call the archangels in at the beginning of all of my meditations. So set some intention. Ask them to show you a sign. Do a meditation with them. Very profound. And beyond the woo, your photography gets a wow. Such clarity. Feel like you could step into the picture and it would look exactly the same in reality. Very well done. Thank you, William. All right, guys. So I think I'll go ahead and wrap it up. Catch us on Journey to Truth here in a little bit. Thank you, Tyler, for sharing that link. And I hope this helped activate you. I tried running through as much as possible in this hour and a half. I could have gone for even more, even longer. And if you want to follow me on Facebook, I shared more pictures on there. And maybe I might be making some more content to help you connect with this, because I think it's incredibly important. We have these kind of lost aspects, this temporary amnesia. That was one of the things Thoth said. Humanity is under temporary amnesia, a fog. And it's starting to dissipate. And these things are triggering us. And it happens in stages, in phases. But a lot of us have trained in the mystery schools in ancient Egypt. A lot of us, probably all of us, have connections with Atlantis, Lemuria. It's all connected. We're here for a reason. So this footage and connecting with these energies can help you to remember, can help trigger something for you. So I hope you enjoyed this. And don't forget to give this video a like. I will be on Patreon next Sunday. Unless I get some crazy updates, then I will hop on YouTube as well. But I'll be doing Patreon Tier 3 next Sunday. And I want to do a video soon on Sedona because so much has happened already. I've only been here a week. I haven't even finished unpacking because so much is happening. But there's a strong Egyptian connection here as well. And yeah, I've got tons of things to share about that, but we'll save that for another stream. Love you guys. And I will see you guys next time. All right. You can also join the Telegram group chat. Follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. All of those links are in the video description. And I will see you guys later. Don't forget to check out the live stream on Journey to Truth here in a couple of hours. I'll see you guys later. Take care.